Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this live session. We're going live on Instagram and Facebook together, and my name is Sushil Sukhwani. I'm the founding director of Advise International, and I'll be talking today about should you defer your plans to study abroad. What's most important to note is today's date, 25th July 2020, because the opinions, views, and strategies for something like should you defer your plans to study abroad is a continuously evolving situation, and the situation has evolved a lot since my last live session, which was in April. And every day we keep hearing information about what's new in each country. We're talking about should you defer your plans to study abroad, and the question is for which destination. Are we talking about for USA? Are we talking about for UK? Are we talking about for Australia? Are we talking about for Ireland? Are we talking for New Zealand? Are we talking for Singapore? Are we talking for Canada? So each country, each destination has its own unique issues about whether we should study on campus, whether we should study online, or we should defer our plans. So Advise is founded 28 years ago by me, and I've been running this company. And now I'd like to share my views on why should one differ or why should one not differ. After my brief presentation, I will be able to take questions, and I will see to it that I'm there for as long as I can. And if I cannot answer all the questions live, I shall revert to people if they leave their contact information, their email IDs, or inbox us, call our helplines. We will respond to you. So this is all about the big COVID story and what's going to happen. The first thing is depends when you need to travel. So the people who need to really make this decision today is the students of Australia and New Zealand, and they need to consider whether they should be going deferring studying online or traveling. Now travel in the case for Australia and New Zealand is not possible, and students have an option of defer or to study online. Now primarily I'd like to say one thing. I'm a person who believes that there should not be a break in education. I believe education is a lot like cycling. If you stop pedaling, you fall off. Or it's like swimming. You stop moving your hands and legs, you drown. So if you were in grade 8, would you be taking a break or a gap year when you were going into grade 9? If you were in the grade 13, would you be taking a gap year or break to go in from this program to the next? So why are you thinking about that now? The reason the question arises is because of a change in the education destination, because of the change in the degree and the cost. Those are the issues that come about, the COVID situation in the market, and all these things make people think that should we defer or should we go. I'm for those who says do not defer and actually do not go also. My recommendation is try and study online as much as you can, because the new way of learning is online. Now the new world has brought about these new realities, and we are facing new challenges. As we go ahead, education is going to be more and more integrated, more and more online, more and more hybrid, more and more blended. And one thing I'm quite sure that no academic program post-COVID will be identical to an academic program pre-COVID. There will be an increased element of online, there will be an increased element of tech, there will be an increased element of networking, whatever it is would have come in. Because there are benefits of the digital platform that will seep into education, which was actually resisting change and technology for a long time. So there will be some element of online coming in. Now, another very clear thought that I have and believe is face-to-face education is better and is here to stay. It's not going to go away, and it is what we all desire, and it is better. But the question is now, for ideally one semester. Most people do not think that we're going to be in this pandemic more than one semester. So the question is about deferring one semester. And because of academic program availability, some people might say, should we defer a year? Well, face-to-face education being the preferred choice, one might think, yes, I'm not getting the real thing, so should I go abroad? I mean, just wait, or should I start online? For me, starting online is the way to go, and taking a break, I think, is a luxury. Not many people are fluent enough to afford a break like that. However, those who are taking a break, I highly recommend that they do something more than gaming, something more than watching movies, and do something constructive. We have one of India's leading management gurus, Mr. Shiv Khera, who's a motivational speaker, and he has said, whatever you do, come out of this pandemic with new skills. Do not waste your time. Now, as we see, as we live day-to-day life, the data of number of cases in India keep on rising, where most other parts of the world, they seem to be under control of all. So the feeling is that we're going to be rising, and one of the COVID cases are going to be rising, and one of the studies showed that the cases in India are going to peak in about 2020 November, and that's scary. So if it's just going to be keep going up and up, that's when parents will say, I do not want to send my child abroad. I want to have them home. I want them close to me, and I want them safe. Yes, agreed. So my view again, do not consider traveling. Actually consider online, and do not consider a break. By going online, you save a lot of money. You have a lot of benefits because institutions are offering scholarships. You save on accommodation costs because once you travel, do not travel, you don't have to spend that. And most destinations, you won't get a part-time job. Students are looking at going there and working part-time. So they're not going to get that kind of a job in the way the economy is overseas right now. Further, you save on daily travel. You don't have to travel on the airlines. You don't have to travel, to campus every day. So there are lots of things that actually make today online education cheaper. And note, you will not get these benefits later. So there's an advantage. If cost is important to you, you're getting lots of benefits depending on the destination you're going, of tuition waivers, scholarships, and multiple other things. Now, some places the tuitions have not been dropped because the faculty at those campuses have had to put in a lot of effort to see that the programs have gone online and that they've been constructed correctly online. They've also had to purchase a lot of technology, not just Zoom accounts, but they use platforms like Moodle and Blackboard often at different campuses. So it depends on all that. And also people do not know that the banks today which are funding overseas education are ready to fund an online start as long as they are sure that the program is going to go classroom based later on. And if you were to study in India, those of you who would say, okay, I'll take a break and study in India, most programs in India are also going to be online or hybrid. So what's going to be happening overseas is actually programs are going to be hybrid or blended. Now UK is allowing students to travel or inviting students to come. Ireland is insisting that students come. USA is also insisting that students travel. These destinations, once a student travels, will not necessarily be in class all the time and will possibly be in class alternate days because we're looking at social distancing and 50% attendance in classes or labs. So you'll be sitting on campus in USA or UK and probably going to class alternate days, but having the same expenses and not being able to work part-time. Keeping that in mind, if you're anyway going to be doing half the class online or distance sitting on campus overseas, you can consider doing it on campus here. It's anyway your choice. The first and best answer is travel if you can. The second is do it online, start online and go whenever you want. Most of these programs are going to be running in a synchronous manner and students can travel when they wish. And otherwise they can, you know, travel when they wish and go, or they can finish the full semester, go at the end of the semester. While studying online, there are other benefits that come about time, flexibility, you can learn at your own pace, and learning online is like a new skill which you might not have acquired, but these are the new skills that you will require in the new world. However, note, if your program is available online, you're very, very lucky because not all students have the opportunity to get a program that's online. And ensure you'll be happy to know that most of the institutions in UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada are government backed. And it is the institutions and the governments that are trying to ensure that the learning outcome is the same. It's not that you achieve a lower quality education. So it's no big deal if you miss one semester. If you're going abroad for a example 4-year program or 3-year program, you're missing 12 to 17% of the real thing. That's no big deal. So if you're an undergrad, 100% start online and do not defer. If you're a grad, depends. Your program's 2 years, okay, you'll have a loss of experience of 25%, but you'll also save a lot of money. If your program's a year, depends. There you might have something to think about that I want the full real experience of 1 year or not. But if you're going to be staying back, if you're going to go to UK and study 1 year and stay back and work 2 years, then you're not really missing out on so much of an experience because your whole project is of 3 years. You're missing maybe 6 months or 4 months out of 3 years, and maybe not even 4 months. You can start. You don't have to start in September, you don't have to start in October, you can start in November, you can travel in December. So these are all the options that people have. So my view is that you should open your mind to studying online if you find it difficult to travel, and do not consider or defer. Now, while you're home, you have the benefit of not catching COVID, safety, food, living with your family, studying at your own pace, and just concentrating, not getting distracted. So even when you're overseas, wherever you are, there is social distancing. Restaurants are not open, nightclubs are not open, football fields are not functioning, cricket fields are not functioning. There's enough social distancing out there, and we're moving closer to winter. So you might as well be comfortably living here in India. If your program is not available online, you can ask for an institution that has your program available online. You can consider change of institution, change of program, and in fact, if you take programs that have to do with whatever the COVID has brought about, programs in medicine, public health, immunity, clinical research, allied medical, great. There'll be better career options for you. So you can consider doing that too. So the question is now versus later. If you differ, yeah, your institution might have a seat for you, but the fees will not go down. You'll not be able to save money. If you have now versus later, you'll graduate when you pass out. Now, if you finish your program and you pass out, there will be more jobs available and fewer graduates. If you study later, there'll be more graduates with fewer jobs. And if you're getting benefits of post-study work while you're studying here online, you're actually getting those benefits at half price. No one before has got those benefits at half price, and I don't think anyone after this also will get benefits at that price. So the real benefit of saving money, getting the education, getting the same learning outcome, and not spending as much, and getting the credits towards post-study work, I don't think this is something that can happen. This is actually an opportunity that has come about because of COVID, and I think one should grab it. You should also think whether the economy will open up overseas faster in India. I think economies are going to come back with a vengeance. In the tourism world, they're calling it revenge tourism. They think people will start going on holidays more than they did in the past. So there is going to be a spring back, is the way I think it's going to be. And some programs are even starting much later. So if you're going to UK or wherever else, it's starting later. In the case of Canada, the programs are going to start on time, but most people in Canada, the institutions are encouraging students to start online and not travel. In the case of USA, Trump has said if your program is online, only online, we will not issue a visa and we don't expect you to travel. But if your program is classroom based, you can travel, but we do not know whether the consulates will open up. Some benefits of also trying online is you can start online and try it for free and you can back off, because all institutions have a withdrawal date. They have what they call a census date, and you can say, I'm trying it out for 1 week, I'm trying it out for 2 weeks, depending on what the institution allows. And post that you can defer. Some institutions might allow a refund also. So you can actually start online without having a cost. So I'm pretty much through with what we have been talking. The VFS for Ireland has opened, the VFS for UK has opened. Australian visas have commenced processing online. Canada has processed online has commenced. We don't know yet about USA. We don't know yet about Singapore. But these are the recent things that have happened. Also keep in mind, if you travel abroad, you will be expected to quarantine yourself. In some countries it's 7 days. In some countries it's 14 days. In some countries they call it, an island, they call it self-isolation and not quarantine, but yet it is as much, it's the same thing, I believe. So these are all the things that are happening. Take benefits of the discounted fees and be ready for a blended approach, because that's what the future is. One of the things that you might need to take into account, that most other destinations, the cases of COVID are insignificant compared to the number of COVID cases in India. The only destination where it is much more than India is USA. So you might think that whether you want to travel or not, but it depends which part of USA you want to go. A question that would come about, I already anticipate, is aircrafts and flights. Institutions in UK, Ireland, Australia are thinking about chartering flights. When flights open up, they will consider charters. Commercial flights to USA have already started. If commercial flights have started for USA, we are not far away from them being started for other destinations. So I think flights will open up, campuses will open up, institutions can have programs will have programs that commence in class, but you should travel or not depends on a daily situation on how things happen. So one should look at what is the census date, try online, and figure out what is the best choice for you. You can be in touch with your counselors at Advice and send in an email or call them or WhatsApp them and give it a thought. If you have questions, I'm ready to take them now. But before I get into it, it is you, each student, that has to take a decision, because everyone's program, destination, everything is different. However, highly recommend that one should not defer. One should study online or travel and not take a break, because I don't think you must sacrifice a long-term gain for a short-term pain, right? So I will now move into questions. Is the winter 2021 intake online? Someone asked that. So winter 2021 intake, I presume you're talking about Jan 21, whoever asked this question. And Jan 21, in my view, will mostly be classroom based. The way we are going, to assume that this pandemic will go on longer than that is not real. But if you have fears of that, then depends where you're going. If you're going to UK, you don't have to worry about it, because right up till April first week you can travel. So then you don't have really an issue. It also depends on the duration of your program, because in Canada they're allowing you 50% of your program overseas. So if you're doing a 2-year program, one more intake online, doesn't matter. So it depends on duration of program, depends on destination. I'll move on to the next question. Are there good universities in Australia for electronics? Yes, definitely there are many good universities in Australia for electronics, sorry. And instead of getting into individually naming institutions, I highly recommend you give your complete profile, give your percentage, get in touch with a counselor from Advise, and they will map your grades, your scores with the correct institution, depending on your preference for location and fees. Someone has asked the difference between a master's program and a postgraduate diploma. This is more so the question in the case of Canada. A degree program in Canada is 2 years. A postgraduate diploma program in Canada is 1 year. The PG diplomas are more vocational, they're more hands-on, they're more close to industry, and they're usually lower priced, lower fees. Depends on the kind of career path you want to go. Sometimes a PG diploma is better, and sometimes a master's degree is better. Again, a good point, a good question, but the way to get it answered correctly for your profile would be connecting with a counselor at Advise. Another question, I applied in March for Canada student visa. When will I get a reply? You will get a reply really soon. We at Advise have had a lot of students get visas. Many people who applied in March have already started getting visas. Some of the students whose passports were also submitted have actually got a passport back with a stamped visa on it. But majority of our students have already started getting replies, and those who have applied thereafter also will get the replies soon. They'll all be done before the programs start. That's the aim of the Canadian High Commission, and also the aim of most of the High Commissions. What you must keep in mind is people are not traveling for tourism. People are not traveling for business. So the only real pressure on the High Commissions for visas is student visas. And they're going to try and see that they save students' academic years and prevent them from losing out and not have to defer. You'll also have to understand these countries are highly dependent on the money that you all are sending as tuition fee, and they want you all to study. So they want to make your experience the best experience, whether it's online or campus based, and they do not want you to defer, so they are going to make it as easy and as real as possible to process the visas on time. So question here is, if I do a 1-year degree course for 4 to 5 months online, will I get a post-study work opportunity in UK? Yes, as long as you travel, I think it is somewhere in the first or second week of April. You can go as late as that. So you don't have to only do 4 to 5 months in India. You can do up to 6-7 months in India and then go and yet get the full benefits of a post-study work if you're going to UK. Weightage of an online course over a classroom course. That's a relevant question, and many people do not want to take an online program because it is recognized less. It is not given the same credit. It's in a way true, but most institutions will not put it on your mark sheet that you studied online. And the whole world knows that the only way you could have studied at this time was online. Because whether you're in India or any other part of the world, the classes are going to be online. So, yes, it's considered a lower weightage, but the programs have been retuned and remodified so that they can come with the same learning outcomes. A question. So there's a pause, just give me a moment. I'm just getting some technical glitch sorted out. Yes, sir.
Because of the Wi-Fi connection got lost.
Wi-Fi got cut? You want to use, but you can't change the gadget.
I have switched my network.
Just give us a moment. Our Instagram camera Wi-Fi network broke.
Facebook.
Facebook camera Wi-Fi network broke. Okay, give us a moment, please.
I need to restart.
Go ahead. You want to take it from this camera?
It's okay, I'm just starting it again.
I'll just take a question, doesn't matter. The question answers Imran, I'll go on. So what would be the post-study work visa implication? One is attending 100% course. I don't know if the question means 100% online. I don't think any destination is giving student credits for post-study work with a 100% online program. The best is UK, and Canada is offering 50% for now. So the question here is, postgraduate work permit will be cancelled for people doing 1-year course online. Is that true? I don't think so. Postgraduate work permit will not be cancelled for people doing 1 year online. I guess this question is for Canada or UK. In the case of UK, I'll repeat, you can travel up to April and it will not be cancelled. In the case of Canada, it's 50% of the program. So if you're doing a 2-year program, 50% is 1 year, and if you're doing a 4-year program, 50% is 2 years, and if you're doing a 1-year program, then 50% is 1 semester. Also keep in mind, some of these countries might modify rules for the benefit of students as we move ahead in life, because these rules also were created because of the current pandemic, and they had to be the rules had to be released because of this situation. So if things go crazy all around the world, I'm an optimistic, and I would say some rules will come about to help change that situation. So there's another question. Suppose one goes for an online course in September. Will there be any guarantee that the campus will be open by January? My friend, there's no guarantees. Nobody has any guarantees for anything around the world today. I can't guarantee you this. If you are that afraid of this factor, you can defer. But the smarter thing would be to start online now. And if you have your constraint that you have to be there, you defer the next semester. You can take a break for the January semester. And at least you're in a better position rather than choosing to defer at this stage. Maybe the problem of campuses will open is one possibility, government will change the rule is another possibility. So it's better if you study this semester and take a break for the following semester. This question is about Canada. What if a college is not allowing online lectures even after getting the stage 1 approval for Canada? So college or institution will not allow you to go online because that particular program might not be suited for online. The other reason could be that the program is not available online at that institution but may be available online at another institution. So you should take a check and figure out and go to the other institution and do an online if you really want to start. And most programs are open in Canada right now. We are regularly getting new inquiries at Advise for studying in Canada starting this fall. We're getting new inquiries at Advise for starting in UK this fall. And we have capacity and we can help you. Can we defer our intake once we get stage 1 approval? Yes, students, you can defer your intake. Whether you get your stage 1 approval or not, you have the choice to defer your intake. So it is advisable to start with your visa processing, whether it is UK, Canada, Australia, Ireland, etc. Start with your visa processing and you can yet defer after you get your visa. What are your thoughts on traveling to New Zealand for a master's for Feb 21? If that was the original intake that one was focused to go on, you can definitely go. It should be available. New Zealand has one of the least cases of COVID, and from a last statistic I read, I think in the last 1 month they mustn't have had even 20 or 30 cases of COVID in the month of July. That's, absolutely safe. So I think it will be a realistic possibility for you to travel at that time. So some more questions. What is a hybrid program? So hybrid is one of the words, blended is another word. They call them online programs, remote learning, hybrid, blended, virtual programs. All these words are not actually perfectly defined. So there's no pure definition of a hybrid program. But all these programs are where you would be partly classroom based and partly online. So when they're starting hybrid programs in UK, they want students to have alternate days attending class. Some days in class, some days not in class. That's what they mean by hybrid. But the same programs also running in a synchronous manner, and you can study it online from India. The question for UK, September 2020, how late can we go to the UK? I've answered this before, but it is around the second week of April that one can stay here and travel then. Will things get better by 2021 for spring intake in the US? So, US is already having more than 75% of its institutions are starting classroom-based education. That education is going to be with social distancing, but it's going to be on. So things, COVID, I think, will be reduced. The other question is, will travel be open for USA if flights are on? And the third question is, when will the consulates open for issuing visa? That we don't have clarity about. Okay. I have a question here. Is the VFS open? The VFS is open, but for some countries. It's open for Ireland, it's open for UK, and for Austria, it's open for Netherlands, it's open for Germany. So some countries have opened up, and the other countries, it is scheduled to open, but we don't have the dates as yet. And is the VFS open for Canada in Mumbai? The answer to that is no, but those who would like to apply for a Canada visa, you can apply online. Your medical facilities are open for Canada. So one can even do the medical. The only thing that's not available at this moment is biometric, and you do not need a biometric unless you're traveling, and travel is now not encouraged for Canada, right? So I think we are done. Thank you all for attending and wish you all the best. Be in touch with Advice for any further queries, and highly recommended, do not defer, study online or travel. Thank you.